Hello and welcome to Irish Homestead.
It's been a dry couple of days and it's actually quite warm, so I hope the cold spell's over, so we thought it's about time to come and plant our potatoes. Okay, so as we mentioned in our earlier video about why we garden, we're not very experienced at this, and this is actually the first time we'll ever have planted potatoes.
Yep.
So it's very much a trial and error and a bit of an experiment for us. As we mentioned also, we've got very heavy clay waterlogged soil. And it does rain a lot here, so we have picked an area in one of our fields just over from the house in the back of the polytunnel where the topsoil is actually quite rich and it looks like it should grow quite well.
Well, actually the area that we have picked for our future garden, vegetable garden, is at the moment looks like this. You can see behind.
The pigs are just over here. This is the rush field that we're moving the pigs through.
Yeah, but we decided we wanted to try and experiment this here, and we have trimmed a small patch of rush over here that you can see behind us, covered in plastic. We have covered it with donkey manure, spent bedding from goats and donkey, and then covered it in plastic. So this plastic has been here for
about 6 or 7 months?
Yeah, for 6 or 7 months. This is really not long enough to kill rush roots and like plants like creeping buttercup, but hopefully it has weakened them enough. We have been researching different ways and methods of planting potatoes. I mean, the most conventional one is that you dig over the bed and then you kind of dig a trench and plant potatoes in and then cover it with soil. We are a bit lazy, I think. We didn't want to dig over this
No.
this patch, especially because the soil is pretty heavy, clay. It's really impossible to dig out the roots. It's everything kind of stuck together, so we didn't really want to dig anything over. So after a lot of research, we have chosen a different method, which is kind of not exactly no dig, but minimal dig, I would say, or dig only once.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so we've removed the weights from around the side of the plastic, but we haven't actually lifted the plastic yet, so we're not quite sure how well it's killed the weeds and stuff back, so we'll take the plastic off and have a look.
Yeah, let's see. Well, as expected, creeping buttercup is still here, pretty strong. I mean, some patches are looking better than others.
A few dock leaves still there.
Few dock leaves are still there, and some creeping buttercup. So what we're going to do now, we'll dig out the dock leaves because those are really hard to get rid of.
Okay, so we peeled the plastic back, dug out a few of the bigger weeds that are left, a few of the dock leaves and stuff. We've got a couple of different types to plant today. We've got some main crops and some first earlies.
Yeah, some different varieties just to try and see.
Yep.
So the method that we are going to experiment with today, we've actually found this method of planting potatoes on one of the channels that we really love. It's called Edible Acres. We have done a lot of research. Some people suggest that you can even just cover potatoes with straw and they will grow perfectly fine. But we were kind of not really sure about that, though it does seem quite easy. So the method that the gentleman suggests from the Edible Acres site is channel is that you can lay out the potatoes on the ground, then cover them with sods from the pots, so kind of fold over the sods on top of the potatoes, and then mulch them with straw or hay. And then as they sprout and the first shoots appear, you can earth them by adding up a little bit more soil from the pots. And this also forms the future raised bed, so it's kind of dig once method.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to try today. So what we have done, we have marked where our first future bed will be over here with the sticks. So we're going to lay out the potatoes on the ground and then cover them with sods from the pots. I hope that will work.
Look at the size of that worm.
Well, I have to say, even though this laying manure and covering with plastic, it did not kill such weeds as dock leaves and creeping buttercup, but what it did do is it really made this place much more
It's very easy to turn over.
It's very easy to turn
Very
over,
easy.
very easy to dig, and so many worms.
Full of worms everywhere.
Yeah. So hopefully it's.
So you should maybe, hopefully you can see from the camera, you can now start to see the demarcation of the bed. We've folded the sides into the middle, and then we're going to put a lot of straw in that, right?
We're going to put straw and spent goat bedding on top, and then once the potato shoots appear, as in if the potato shoots appear, we will continue mulching it and earthing it with the soil from the pots and more straw. So that's the plan, at least. Let's continue?
Yep.
We have many more potatoes to plant. Okay, we have cheated all our potatoes. They were sitting on a window ledge in our bathroom, which is, I have to say, pretty cold. So some potatoes have cheated more than they probably should have. I don't know, they're already leafing, but it was extremely cold and we had lots of late frosts, so we'll just plant them and see how it goes.
Okay, getting puffed out now and hot. That's the second bed done. Another thing this method does, which makes sense especially in this wet environment, is by digging out the trenches. I thought, oh, that's bad, it's going to fill with water. But that's not a bad thing, because it will help the water drain away from the potato crop, and hopefully it will be a bit more resistant towards rotting or blight.
Yeah, because I mean this is one of the driest areas that we have.
That's not saying much either.
Well, yeah, because I mean it is very wet in Ireland, and being clay, it makes it much worse. But yeah, this way we don't have any lack of rain here, so there's never any need to water anything outside. But by creating this kind of elevated raised beds, it will probably help with drainage, and the water will drain into the pots, which is okay, better than the crop being waterlogged.
Okay, next row. Heart shape.
Okay, so we are done planting 5 beds. The first 2 are first earlies, and then we have 3 main crop. Of course, it's not enough to last us the whole winter, but it's just an experiment to see if this method is going to work. If it does, then we'll definitely be planting much more next year, and if it doesn't, we'll have to think of some other method and buy potatoes in the supermarket meanwhile.
Okay, so we've just got a trailer load of spent goat bedding and a bale of straw, and we're just going to spread it over the top of the new beds. Not too deep, just a nice light covering. Okay, that's it. So 5 beds done. We just used the goat's bedding, the spent goat's bedding. We didn't use the straw because we actually had enough. And it's a bit heavier, so chances are it won't blow away.
Yeah, and I hope it does make a little bit more sense what we were trying to achieve now that the beds are ready. And we will keep you posted on the progress if the potatoes start growing.
Yeah, we'll do an update video.
Yeah.
So if you like the channel, please subscribe. And yeah, we'll show you how they've got on later in the year when
He's an optimist.
when they've grown.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks very much. Bye now.